Hello and welcome to my channel again. This is Joe from Family Camp Tents site and channel. Today I have a selection of single wall camping tents for groups and for families. If you are not familiar with this terminology, single wall or single layer tent, it can be described as a shelter which has only one major main piece of fabric supported with poles. To understand this even better, I can show you an example of a double layer tent, and here is this Quest Redwood 6-person tent, which is a dome style tent, and it has an inner tent like this, you see, and a full coverage fly. So this is a typical double layer or double wall tent. On the other hand, in single wall tents, you have just one piece of fabric and poles that support the tent. So the list includes several very different constructions and designs, and as you see here from this list, these are well-known brands. So you have dome style tents, tunnel type, also cabin type tents, and a combination of cabin and bell-shaped tents. The list here in the post which I'm using to show you the tents is ordered by the floor area from smaller to larger. So the first in the list is this North Face Sequoia 6-person tent, and you have around 7.5 square meters of floored space here, so there are no vestibules. This is all inner floored area, and from this picture you realize what advantage of such a design could be. You see the poles are from outside, so if you are in a situation to set up such a tent when it rains, you put the poles in place and raise the tent from the ground, and the inner remains protected. This is not so when you have to deal with a double layer tent, where the inner tent is usually a mesh, just a mesh or mesh and taffeta combined, and if it rains, before you attach the fly, the inner will become wet. So this is what you have as an advantage in single wall tents. This particular North Face Sequoia is quite light for a 6-person tent and for such a size, so it's only around 5.5 kilograms. So it's light enough that can be carried even on the trail. Next in the list is Big Agnes Doghouse Camping Tent 6-person, and again you see an interesting construction. The tent is quite tall, just and it offers 7.6 square meters of the floor area, and the peak height is incredible, 203 centimeters. So for a dome style tent, this is a lot. Again, here you have poles from outside, two main poles that create X cross structure, and you have an additional short pole that pulls this part here that creates a small awning or brim above the door, so you have a sort of dry entry point here. The weight of this tent is 5.9 kilograms, so it is still light enough to be carried even on a trail if this is about a group of 5-6 people, so they can share the weight. But basically the best use of this tent is, of course, to have it as a car camping tent, or perhaps even you can transport it on a bicycle. The packed size is length 65 centimeters and diameter 23, so this is reasonably compact. Another is very interesting, USD House Party Car Camping Tent 6-person. From this picture you really realize that this is a tunnel type tent, and can you guess, it is freestanding, and this is because of clever construction. So when you put all these three main loops in place and then add the poles that are on the roof, tension is created in the fabric and the tent is indeed freestanding. There are no many tunnel type tents on the market that are freestanding. So this is an interesting design. It is with aluminum poles and almost 8 square meters of the floored area. The weight I gave, yeah, it's below 6 kilograms. So still quite light tent. Another is a tent from Cabellas, so it is Outback Lodge 8-person tent, and here you have something that is, I would say, mainly a bell-shaped tent. So you have main central pole in the middle that makes the tent very tall, but there are several poles on the perimeter, and the walls are actually vertical, so it's a bit of a cabin type tent as well. This is an impressive tent. You see here on the top you have vents, and the tent also has windows, and the door is with this awning above, so this is a dry entry point again. Regarding the area, you have 13.4 square meters or 144 square feet, and this is an 8-person tent, so it can accommodate 8 people, but of course if you need more comfort, you can reduce this number to, let's say, 4 or 5 maximum. It's moderately heavy, 12.7 kilograms or 28 pounds, but for such a floor size, it's actually very reasonable, and you could describe it as a lightweight. Next in the list is Guide Gear Base Camp Tent, very impressive structure. Here again you have central main pole, so the tent is in the group of bell-shaped but also cabin type tent. You see the walls are vertical, and you have this huge porch which is with vertical and tall walls. So the tent also comes with a stove jack, so you can use wood burning stove inside, and this means you can use this tent in practically any weather conditions for winter camping as well. The peak height is more than 3 meters because of this central pole. There are 5 windows here, and the tent is simply remarkable when you see how great it looks. The area is 14.3 square meters, and the weight is substantial, 52 pounds or around 24 kilograms. So this is not something to carry anywhere far from your car. And the list is here concluded with the largest tent in the list, which is Cabellas Ultimate Alcanac, 13 times 27. These numbers are feet, so these are dimensions of the tent. This is a huge structure, and from the picture you realize that it has no less than 2 stove pipe jacks. So you can put even 2 wood burning stoves inside. Tent is ready for this. There are 240 square feet of area, or more than 22 square meters, so this is indeed something special. The peak height is 277, and you see that the walls are vertical, so again this is a good hybrid mixture of cabin type and bell-shaped tent. Regarding the packed size, it is not the best feature of this tent. It is 140 centimeters tube and 37 centimeters diameter. So again, for this you need a lot of space in the car. Here in the post which I'm using, I have also several frequently asked questions answered about advantages and disadvantages of single layer or single wall tents, and also about their waterproof properties. I wish to point out at least this aspect to describe a bit. There is no difference between a single and double layer tent regarding waterproofness, because if you speak about double layer tent, then the inner tent is usually the canopy is mesh or combination of mesh and breathable taffeta, so this is not a extra layer for rain protection, which means that the fly is the only layer. And of course here in the single wall tents you have integrated fly, so there is no basic difference. It all depends on the particular tent and on its waterproof rating. There is also one question asked about are single wall tents colder? Again, don't misunderstand the terminology. The fact that it has a single layer doesn't mean that this is colder. Actually, you can feel warmer in such a tent than in a standard double layer tent. The reason is very easy to understand, and I can show you again this picture here from the tent. You see the fly is big, but it's not connected to the tent floor. So the inner tent is connected, its floor is connected to the mesh canopy, and this means that you can have a lot of cold draft from the ground underneath the fly, while in a single layer tent like this or any other here in the list, the floor, the walls and the fly are one single piece, so this is all sealed, and you have of course vents that you can close if you feel cold. So again, single wall tent can in fact be warmer than a double layer tent. Of course, there are double layer tent where you can have both layers waterproof and also full taffeta tents, and these are indeed then warmer. You can also have such tents with in insulation, but you can have such insulation even in the single wall tents. I have one tent, two-person crew outdoors dome tent, which is a single layer tent. I use it for when I go on tours, for example, car camping, or when I'm on bicycle tour. I use it as a single wall tent. But that particular tent, I mean, the brand has an inner insulated tent that you can use within this tent. So I think I will stop here. There is a link below this video, so you can come to the site and read this text in detail. And please subscribe to my channel. And if you find this presentation useful, give me a like. This will help the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.